If you have an air fryer sitting on your counter and you're still not using it for chicken on a weeknight, that ends today.
We're giving you 7 of our absolute best air fryer chicken recipes. Fast, flavorful, and totally doable after a long day. And we're making all of these in the Cosori Turbo Blaze air fryer.
We've ditched all our other air fryers in favor of this new design. It demolishes the competition. You'll see how great it cooks as we go through these 7 recipes. All right, we're starting out with something a little different today, but you've probably seen it all over your feed. We're making chicken durum, which is a Turkish wrap stuffed with doner kebab meat and wrapped in lavash. I am completely obsessed with this recipe. Wait until you see how easy this comes together, and it is so delicious. And shout out to the original by Meze Mike. These are generally done with beef in the oven, but today we are making a slightly different version with chicken in the air fryer to show you how easy it is to make. We need to start with the onions, and we're using 1 red onions made 2 different ways. First, grind half of it up in a food processor or chopper like this. This will make sure that the pieces are really fine and mix into the meat well. Transfer that to a large mixing bowl with your pound of ground chicken. Then finely slice the rest of the onion. Put those slices in a small bowl with a tablespoon of lemon juice and a teaspoon of sumac if you have it. Give it a stir and set it aside. That's your pickled topping, and it is so good. Now for the chicken, I ground my own chicken thigh meat because I like to have a little bit more fat in there. You can buy just ground chicken from the store, and chicken breast I would avoid because I think it's a little too lean for this recipe. Then add a teaspoon each of ground cumin and paprika, half a teaspoon each of garlic powder and dried oregano, half a teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Mix it really well until everything is combined. Here's the really fun part. Take about 1/4 of the mixture and spread it out on a piece of parchment paper. Lay another piece of parchment paper on top of that and roll it out as thin as you can get it without breaking the meat apart. Then pull off the top parchment paper and roll the meat up like a fruit roll up. Do this with all 4 portions so that you've got 4 little rolls. Now we've got 4 of these and we're going to spread them out in the air fryer. I love how big this basket is. There's plenty of room for all 4. If your basket's not quite this big, you might have to cook them in 2 batches. Air fry them at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes until the chicken is cooked all the way through. Isn't it great how quiet that is? I can still make something while it's going. So while it's cooking, let's mix up the sauce. Grab your jar. Combine half a cup of Greek yogurt, a tablespoon of lemon juice, 3 minced garlic cloves, a tablespoon of olive oil, and some salt and pepper. Shake it until it's smooth. To make the wraps, I'm using lavash, which you can find at the store very easily. It's a nice thin sheet, so it makes a perfect wrap, but you could use pita or tortillas. I'm heating my lavash on my indoor grill so that it can get some nice marks, but you could also do this on a skillet, just until it's soft and pliable. All right, this is where the magic happens. Are you ready? All right, while this cools just a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and get the wrap ready. Spread on some of that garlic sauce, a few tomato wedges, then layer on a lettuce leaf, and some of those sumac pickled onions. When those chicken rolls come out of the air fryer, you unroll them and you've got this beautiful thin sheet of seasoned chicken that goes right into the wrap. Drizzle on more garlic sauce, fold the bottom up, and roll it tight.
Okay, I need one of those immediately.
Oh yeah, they are so good and so easy in the air fryer. No complicated techniques or ingredients, we're just making good food here.
Next up are my hot honey chicken tenders. And let me tell you, I've been making these on repeat. The breading is crispy, the hot honey is sticky, and just the right amount of spicy. These are the kind of tenders you really get excited for. First, let's make the seasoning blend. In a small bowl, mix together a tablespoon each of paprika, salt, garlic powder, and onion powder. Mix well. We've got an extra treat today, actual magic sauce. You can get this at Walmart if you want to give it a try. It was developed by Nick DiGiovanni, one of our favorite food creators. We're putting it in the marinade to add tons of extra flavor. So to make the marinade, grab a large bowl. Combine a cup of buttermilk, half a cup of magic sauce, and half of that seasoning mix that we put together earlier. Add your pound of chicken tenders and then stir it together really well so all the flavors get distributed. Cover and marinate it in the fridge for at least 2 hours. Overnight is even better. When you're ready to cook, take the chicken out of the fridge. In a separate bowl, combine 1.5 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, the remaining seasoning mix, and 2 to 3 spoonfuls of the marinade. It'll look slightly chunky, and that's exactly what you want. I like to pat the chicken dry before I dredge it. This will help the breading stick to the outside of the chicken. Dredge the tenders in that flour mixture. Really scrunch each piece into the flour to build up those craggy bits. That's where the crunch comes from. Set them on a wire rack to rest for 5 minutes. This will also help the breading stay on better. Arrange them in the air fryer basket. Not touching if you can help it. That'll give space for all those sides to get crispy. Spray them well with cooking spray. I'm using this Yaramate oil sprayer, which does a really good job of coating the pieces without spraying the whole kitchen too. We are going to air fry these at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 8 minutes. This is where the Cosori Turbo Blaze really shines. It is so great for breaded chicken because of the DC motor. Most air fryers only have an AC motor that only has 1 fan speed. Well, this one has 5 fan speeds, so it gives you much more control over the airflow. While those are cooking, let's do the hot honey. So grab a saucepan, add 2 tablespoons of butter, a 1/4 cup of raw honey, half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes, 1 finely chopped fresh jalapeno, half a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, and a pinch of salt. Stir gently over low heat for about 5 minutes. Don't let it boil. When you see tiny bubbles around the edges, it's ready. Take it off the heat and let it set for 5 minutes. Then strain out the peppers. When the time is up, flip them over, spray them well, and continue cooking for 4 more minutes. They're done. See how great these look? Perfectly crispy all the way around. Serve the tenders drizzled with that hot honey, or just dunk them if you prefer. Either way, they won't last long.
Okay, this one is a game changer if you love that Costco rotisserie chicken but can't just run out and grab one whenever you want. If you can get a sale, you might be able to get a chicken for about the same price, and then the air fryer does all the work. The Turbo Blaze has a 6-quart basket. That's large enough for a whole chicken, and it gets the skin incredibly crispy in a way that your oven just can't match.
And it smells incredible while it's cooking.
That too. Also, Costco keeps their version really simple, so it's going to be very easy to prepare. Mix together 2 tablespoons of melted butter, a tablespoon of salt, half a tablespoon each of garlic powder and paprika, and a teaspoon of black pepper. Stir it all together. This makes a paste that's easier to rub all over the chicken. Now we're just gonna cover it and refrigerate it for about 2 hours. If you can, always go 24 hours. That's gonna give you the best flavor. Place the chicken breast side down in the basket and cook it for about 30 minutes. Then flip it breast side up and cook it for another 20 to 30 minutes. Now, here's something that you might run into in case your basket's a little too small and your chicken's a little too big and it doesn't fit in the air fryer basket. You can remove the crisper tray, and that'll give you an extra maybe inch to fit the chicken. By the way, we have a link in the description where you can find all of the recipes, the ingredients and amounts, and everything you need to make these recipes. So head down there and click that link. You can also get all of these recipes on our website, Food Lover's Kitchen, where there's tons of other recipes for you to try. All right, now we're just gonna let it rest. I like to leave it just right here in the basket, let it rest for about 10 minutes so that the juices can get all redistributed in there and they won't come pouring out when you go to cut it. That's all it takes to get crispy skin, juicy meat, and the whole thing done in under an hour.
These chimichangas are something that's so much easier to make than people think. And in the air fryer, they come out crispy, crunchy, without the mess of deep frying. In a large mixing bowl, combine 2 cups of shredded cooked chicken, a cup each of Monterey Jack and cheddar cheese, half a cup of salsa, 1 4-ounce can of diced green chilies, a teaspoon each of ground cumin and chili powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and salt and pepper to taste. Mix it all together until well combined. Before you get started, take your flour tortillas and wrap them in a damp paper towel. Then we're just going to throw them in the microwave for 20 to 30 seconds. Just warming them up that little bit will make them more pliable and less likely to tear. Spoon some of the chicken mixture into the center of each tortilla. Fold the bottom edge up over the filling. Fold in the sides and then roll it up tight like a cylinder. Place each one seam side down in the air fryer basket and spray generously with cooking spray. We're going to air fry these at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 12 minutes. But keep in mind that every air fryer is slightly different because of wattage and air circulation. Just as an example, my old Cosori probably would have taken between 18 and 20 minutes to cook, but these are only going to take 12. Look at how crispy and golden these come out. No need to flip them over. It doesn't get any easier than that. Serve your chimichangas hot with sour cream, guacamole, and salsa. Done! Weeknight dinner in under 20 minutes.
This is the recipe you'll make once and then add to permanent rotation. The glaze is sticky and savory, the chicken is juicy, and bone-in thighs in the air fryer come out with this amazing crispy skin every single time. Start by whisking together 1/4 cup of honey, 3 tablespoons of less sodium soy sauce, 1.5 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and about 1 inch of fresh grated ginger, and 4 cloves of minced garlic. Transfer half of that sauce to a separate bowl and set it aside. That's what we'll put on at the end. Add your bone-in chicken thighs to the remaining sauce and marinate in the fridge for 30 minutes. When you're ready to cook, pull the chicken out of the refrigerator and preheat your air fryer if you need to do that for your model. Arrange the pieces skin side down at first in the air fryer basket without overlapping them. You're going to cook them at 380 degrees Fahrenheit.
You know what I keep noticing about this air fryer? Just how quiet it is. It's running right now and we're having a full-on conversation.
I know, it's significantly quieter than my other air fryers. I didn't think I was going to care that much, but I do. And the beeps that it makes are a lot quieter too. Once the chicken hits an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit, it's done. And I just want to point out that this only took me 15 minutes in this air fryer. And that's why you should definitely be checking along the way, because every air fryer is different and you really don't want to overdo your chicken. Serve it over rice, garnished with sesame seeds and sliced green onions, and that reserved sauce you set aside. Cleaning up after cooking something like this in the air fryer can be a nightmare with the sticky sauce and the high temps, but with this air fryer, it couldn't be easier. Drain off any oil that's left in the basket, then you can put the tray and the basket right into the dishwasher. The ceramic coating is PFAS free, so none of those sketchy non-stick chemicals, and both are dishwasher safe.
This one is so simple. Caprese chicken, mozzarella, tomato, fresh basil. It's bright and fresh and works so well in the air fryer. Mix together a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, and a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. Season all 4 chicken breasts on both sides. Place them in the air fryer basket with some space between them. Cook them in batches if you need to. This Turbo Blaze basket has plenty of room for 4 chicken breasts. We're going to air fry these at 380 for about 8 minutes. Now pause cooking and place a slice of mozzarella and a slice of tomato on top of each breast. Okay, you're going to cook them for 5 more minutes or until the cheese is melted and the internal temperature of the chicken reads 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Serve it with fresh basil and a drizzle of balsamic glaze. It's one of those dinners that looks way fancier than the effort it took.
I wanted to show you just how versatile an air fryer actually is. It's not just for chicken and French fries. This air fryer obviously does air fry. It broils, it bakes, it roasts, it cooks from frozen, it warms up food, and it also can be used as a proofer. All of those things in one. It also goes from 90 to 450 degrees, so so it can tackle just about any food you want to put in it. But for weeknight chicken dinners like we're doing today, you're just going to use air fry and it's going to work like a pro. My favorite things to make in the air fryer is sweet and sour chicken. This is better than takeout in my opinion. It's done in the air fryer and it's ready in about 20 minutes. Add 1.5 pounds of chicken thigh meat cut into bite-sized pieces into a resealable bag or a bowl. Pour in 1/2 cup of cornstarch, seal it, and shake it until the chicken is coated. Spread the chicken out in your air fryer basket in an even layer, don't pile it up, and spray it with some cooking oil. We're gonna air fry this at 380 degrees Fahrenheit for 7 minutes. You want it to be nice and crispy. Give it a little shake halfway through and then we'll be back. Now we're ready to add 1 each of red, green, and yellow bell peppers cut into pieces and 1/2 of a yellow onion cut into chunks. Cook it for another 7 minutes, shaking the basket halfway through if you need to. While that's cooking, we can make the sauce, so grab your saucepan. Combine 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/4 cup each of apple cider vinegar and ketchup, 1 minced garlic clove, 1/2 tablespoon of less sodium soy sauce. Stir it together and cook it over medium heat for 3 to 5 minutes until it thickens up. All right, when the chicken and veggies are done, we're just gonna take them out and spoon them right into a big bowl. Just be careful because the bottom of the tray has a tendency to come out with the food and you don't wanna burn yourself. Pour the sauce over the top and toss to coat everything evenly. I like to serve this over rice with a sprinkle of sesame seeds.
That color is gorgeous. Look at those peppers.
It's a really beautiful dish and it tastes just like you want it to. A little sweet and a little sour. Darn, that's good.
Well, now you have 7 great air fryer chicken recipes that will help you get dinner on the table fast.
So we use the Cosori Turbo Blaze for all of these recipes. It is the highest rated air fryer on Amazon. If you want to check it out, there's a link down in the description. So you can start cooking 46% faster. And if you want to round out those weeknight dinners with some great sides, watch this video with 10 easy barbecue side dishes that pair perfectly with every single one of these.